the Lancashire Hotpots!
Hey up, cockers!
It was very big.
Welcome to the March 2018 Lancashire Hotpots podcast.
How are you? All right.
Presented and delivered and given to you by all 5 members of the Lancashire Hotpots. First off, an apology. This isn't up to our usual recording standards. Our usual digital recorder, zeros and one box, is without batteries. So we're resorting to a onboard microphone on a smartphone.
That's all right. It'll do the job.
We may come over all Frank Sidebottom, you never know.
Modern podcast.
He's dead now.
Thanks very much for streaming/downloading this episode wherever you may find it, whether it's on a SoundCloud, on a YouTube's, on an iTunes.
The important thing is, it's in your ears.
We're coming in your ears right now. We're recording this the morning after Derby.
Yeah, great show.
Great show.
Very hot show, Bob. Bob, you weren't feeling 100% to begin with.
No, I've had the flu this week, and it was my first sort of. It's not the first time I've ever played, and I've not been well, but it was the first time I've ever done over a 2-hour gig with the flu.
Did it feel like someone had poured hot water into the noodles on the inside of a pot noodle?
Visually it was something like that.
Yes.
That's what I was going to say. I just didn't want him to say first.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was going to say micronoodle.
I really felt like I'd sort of like boiled my insides.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had to have a cold shower.
yeah.
What was worse last night? All the time we did Kendall calling and you weren't well.
That was in my mind. Seeing Kendall calling when he had food poisoning was only half an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Half an hour and done.
It was a fair old trek though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I was kind of just sat down, whereas this was just like 2 hours of energy.
Well, I was worried last night because when I looked at you, when you said you felt you had nearly collapsed on stage, I just thought if Bob topples over here, my can's going to go.
An interesting fact about doing a gig while having food poisoning. I once had food poisoning when I was in a previous band called Giant Root Attack, and we were supposed to be playing a gig with you guys in Sherdley Park.
Wow.
But I ended up in the walk-in centre because I couldn't stop defecating.
So what about the food poisoning story?
In the medical game, we call that busy trousers.
Unfortunately,
That's a madness B-side.
we missed out on the opportunity to play a gig with you guys. But you know, it's all worked out all right. I mean, you know,
It is. It is.
Caught roses.
So
in a way.
we all got to bed quite late last night, so we're all maybe not as razor sharp as we usually are, but we'll get there by the end. We'll get there by the end.
I've not even put my pants on yet.
He's not Kenny's in his grundies.
But, you know, I'm colour coordinated.
Yeah. Tell you what, can you give a slap of the bare leg just to prove to the listener? Look at that.
Ow. Can bobble me balls as well.
We'll wait that.
We might leave it in. Nothing rude about balls. So we did one gig last night at the Farrell Pub, but that's not the only gig that's coming up. Oh no, sorry. So what we're going to do now is going over to the man with a plan, aka
You know how this
the
works
dates.
by now.
It's Mr. Bob Wriggles. Click on his face.
Click on my face,
Bing dong. Click on his face. Click on his face. Bing dong.
Click on my face.
It seems to me that we've got loads of gigs coming up.
It's a very, very long list here, all the way
So
up to
you
September.
can skip merrily through them, Bob.
Okay, so let's go. Saturday the 28th of April is the Live Rooms in Chester.
Selling very well.
Saturday the 5th of May is the Smithdown Road Festival.
Oh, nice.
Only down the road, Liverpool. See you there.
That's a nice free one.
Saturday the 12th of May is the Colne Mooney in Colne.
Yes, never been there before. That's going to be good.
Yeah. Sunday the 27th of May, Darwin Live Festival.
Darwin Live. It's on a Sunday night, bank holiday weekend.
That'll be an exciting
for free
time.
in the town centre.
Rave safe.
Saturday the 2nd of June is the Carnegie Theatre in Workington.
That's
Somewhere
selling
else,
very well.
isn't it?
That's
Never been?
definitely going to sell out.
Is it?
Yeah.
Very good. On the Saturday the 16th of June is the Platform in Morecambe.
That will sell out as well.
Tell you what we're going about, aren't we?
We are.
As always. Saturday the 30th of June, the Berry Met.
That will sell out. There's only about 25 tickets left for that now.
It's my birthday show this year, so let's party.
Let's get on it. Saturday the 7th of July, the Blackpool Grand.
That's very good.
Friday and Saturday, the 13th and 14th of July.
Hold the line, caller.
Listen to this.
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, subsequent days, 2 shows at the Salford Lowry.
Anyone would think we was famous.
Who are we going to see?
Well, and why the 2 days?
There are 2 days because 1 day is not enough.
Wow.
One day's not enough tour.
Yeah.
I like that.
The day after was a busy weekend. That's the 15th of July. On the Sunday, it's Beat Herder Festival.
Oh, big.
Beat herder, love a beat herder.
Look at the lineup this
Line
year.
was very
Yeah,
good.
Orbitals. Wow.
Very good. Soul Wax. Saturday the 21st of July, my hometown, the Atkinson in Southport. Friday the 27th of July, Why Not Festival will return to this part of the world.
It's wet. Friday.
Derbyshire.
Big.
Sunday the 29th of July, midday-ish, Kendal Calling.
Kendal
You know what those words
Calling.
mean. Get yourself there.
Calling.
Sold out.
Sold out.
Sold
You
out.
got your tickets.
Well, if you've got your tickets, make sure you're at the
Just
main
get up,
stage,
yeah.
midday. We're going to be, there'll probably be a sound check or something like that where we will try and make you aware of the fact that our stage time is imminent. And the last thing on here, I know there are a few things that we've still got to confirm, but the last one, on this LancashireHotpots.net events page, click on my face,
Bing bong.
is Saturday the 8th of September, Silith.
Wow.
Music and Beer Festival.
Silith Bang.
Wow. Feels like a long way away, but it'll soon come round.
Well, what a marvellous afternoon that is.
Yeah. Oh, tremendous.
Yeah, had a great time last time, didn't we?
So it's the time in the podcast now where the listeners / viewers / social media followers get to ask us to speak our brains. It's
Podcast questions.
podcast questions. He's very good at saying that. So I have a variety from various social networks.
Social
Decided to do a
means.
podcast questions Mexican way. Was that Dickie did one, then you did one, and then you pointed at Bob? Were you trying to get?
Yeah. Well, let's do that.
Podcast questions.
Podcast questions.
Podcast questions.
Podcast questions.
There you go.
Fire the questions at me.
I'm sure Dickie's going to get an act and you'll hear that in quadraphonic sound.
That'd be quite good. Regular contributor Marty Balmforth says, how many of the hot pots are vegetarian? Well, Dickie here, a major vegetarian, have been for 20 years. More leaning so on the vegan side when I'm at home, certainly. But going out's a bit more difficult. Bernard, you like your vegetarian sausages?
I enjoy most of the vegetarian things. We don't eat much meat in our house, but we do chicken. But that's not real meat, is it? It's not a real thing. It's not like it can talk. Or
My
out.
mum said vegetarians can eat chicken and fish.
Yeah, that's it. But
Yeah.
then I'm a
They can
veggie.
eat them, they can.
Well, chicken's not insignificant with the vegetarian thing. Even KFC stopped doing it for a while. So
I wouldn't see it like a proper farm chicken because people like them. But these battery ones, yeah. Give me 10.
Yeah, I'm not vegetarian. The wife's vegetarian, and I dabble every now and again, and I try and not eat too much meat, but it's just nice, isn't it? But
Our last slice of steak.
yeah, but I'm with you on the sausages. I think especially Tesco's own Lincolnshire sausages are better than the real thing, so I would definitely recommend those.
I think they're better than the real thing because in a lot of cases with supermarkets, the real thing have actually got no meat in them. So. But yeah, I've got some Linda McCartney sausages in my fridge currently. I love vegetarian stuff, and I'm really going big on the veg now. I've started having a proper load of salad on my burger. So
Ruth Smith, Juicy Ruthie, says, he says, when you're not performing, do you call each other by your real names or your stage name? Now, we've got to object, 'cause she's insinuating that I wasn't born Dickie Ticker, and from the great family Ticker.
Grow up.
With Ticker on my birth certificate. So I don't like the way you're presenting that. But let's posit and let's suggest. Imagine if these names that we have are our stage names and not our real names. Do we call each other by our other names? Well, you're in my phone as Bernard. You're in my phone as Kenny. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so memorable.
Edit.
I'll leave it in.
You're in my phone as Billy. So, yeah.
You're all in my phone as your real names. Your other names.
Other names.
You're in my phones as Hotpot 1.
I've just gone for the combination because on the Apple iPhone under contacts you can give people nicknames, so I've gone with that option so that it's a bit of both really. So if I was to search for,
He's going into his phone now.
you come up like that.
Yeah, that's one name.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
I've gone for the full shebang. I've got that name, and that you're in the Lancashire Hotpots.
Wow. And you've got my home address on there. If you want to steal Kenny's phone, you can find our house.
I
Yeah.
think anyone who knows me as well knows that I have more aliases than the Saint.
It's important. Yeah,
In fact, yes, you are in my phone as one of your other aliases.
Yeah. And you've got several national insurance numbers.
Yeah. Well, you left your cards in mine.
It is a weird one though, isn't it? Because we always kind of do. It depends on what kind of situation that we're in. We do kind of call each other by the names that we do have. I do call you Bernard, don't I?
So let me just put this into perspective. I live and work in Coventry. 98% of people in my workplace call me Bernard. And it's difficult to when we get somebody new come in, they say hello, what's your name? And I go, it's tricky. It's tricky. Well, what should we call you? Let's just start with mate, and we'll go from there.
What's difficult for me is now, especially when people call me by my actual name, I don't even look up because I think they can't name me. I'm so used to being called.
You're not worth responding to.
Yeah.
See, me and Billy are working on another project at the moment where I do call you your actual name, and it just feels weird me calling you that name.
I remember we woke up together that morning and you called me the wrong name.
I think the nice thing is that in all our lives, surely you have pet names for your wives and your siblings and your friends and family members. I've not called me dad for 30 years. He's always been JB, so it's nice to have those other names, isn't it? It's affectionate.
This is sort of along a sort of a similar line, moving on from that. Tom Clark says, what do your colleagues all think about you going off every weekend to play in the Hotpots, Bernard?
I keep it on the down low, unless they know, and most of them do know, via the social medias, what I do at the weekend. I try not to mention it as best I can, because I'm there to do a job. I'm a very professional man.
My boss, Hatto.
Hattie.
All right, Hatto. He's a big fan. He's always trying to get tales of the on tour activities. I oblige. My other work colleague, Mr. B, he was in a band for nigh on 40 grueling years and gave it all up because he didn't like life on the road. So I don't mention anything about it to him.
No.
Been there,
yeah. He's done it.
Again, I don't tend to, rub it in everyone's face and make a big deal of it, but other people obviously find it interesting what we get up to and the level of support that we get and whatnot. But when I ask, I tell them. I think they find it more funny that I spend a lot of my time just watching our own videos with my headphones on, giggling away, and that I'm so engrossed in my own band that I just sit and watch us. But Tom was there last night, who I work with. He seems to have gotten quite fond of watching our videos, finding the bits where I look particularly stupid, and then making animated GIFs out of them. And then posting them on our work Slack channel. I'm just trying to find them now, but
we'll get them on the social media.
I think for me, being obviously my other position as the Sheriff of Knowsley, now and again a dame little pull up outside mine. Sorry, a guy with a dame bar, and I'll go off. But the strangest thing for me is, nobody believes I'm in the band because there are people I get in taxis, and I was going to one of our gigs last year when we were doing Liverpool. He said, where are you off? I said, I'm going to a gig at the Lancashire Hotpots. He said, they're brilliant them. I said, I'm the keyboard player. He went, I won't say what he actually said, but the second word was off. He went, off. I was like, no, honestly. And my mum, who works in St Helens now and again, she... the chef from her work came in, and my mum has a mug with our faces on, And the chef said, I love that band. And my mum said, my son's the keyboard player. And he went, the second word was off. And he said, but I'll tell you what, Barbara, I love that tune, Chippy Dinner.
I think,
Big fan.
I think the bosses and whatnot, when we get new starters, they'll go, oh, and we've got someone famous, and go, oh, have you heard of the Lancashire Hotpots? They go, no. But then a few days later, they go, oh yeah, I was talking to my girlfriend or my mum, such a body, and I said about you being in the Lancashire Hotpots, and they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it.
One of my favourites was when I was getting my hair cut a couple of years ago, and I was in the barbers in town, and the guy said, what have you been up to? I said, oh, I'm in a band, the Lancashire Hotpots. And he said, I was going to come and see you. He never came to see us, but he said he was going to come to see us. And, so it's just a mad thing being in this band where everybody I know has heard of the band, So.
I work in the automotive industry, so I deal with the likes of Aston Martin and Bentley and Jaguar Land Rover and all these other people. Anyway, we had Aston Martin on site to visit us last week, and one of the senior buyers, a lovely lady called Erica, she came to have a chat with us, and she said, so what are you up to? I said, oh, I'm away this weekend with the guys. I said, who's the guys? I said, I'm in a band, we're called the Lancashire Hotpots. She said, I'm from Kendal, I know all about you, Lancashire. We used to listen to you on the bus going to school.
She's a senior buyer.
Made me feel really old.
But
On the bus going to school. She looked about 30.
I think the hardest thing for me is if and it's very rare that somebody asks what I do and then they don't know what the Lancashire Hotpots do. It's when they ask me to describe what comedy folk is. And at that point I'm usually like, let us out here.
But yeah, as I quite often say to people, and as I said again to someone last night, I don't know, we're in like a little bubble, aren't we? We don't really see it as big as other people see it. It's just what we do, innit? It's just us 5 and sometimes 6 going around and having a laugh.
It's just really odd when you play to thousands of people at Kendal, and I mean thousands of people, they're singing your lyrics and everything. Then the next day, you're getting the 2-for-1 bottles of bleach from the supermarket by mine. It's weird.
Back in work on a Monday after a Kendal calling Sunday is always a culture shock.
From 0 to 0.
George Gardner says, how do you chaps wind down after a gig? You must be buzzing with all that adulation. Well, nothing is more of a kill buzz than packing down your own gear.
Didn't do it last night.
No, we've got that still to do in the pub downstairs.
It's nice to just to shatter the myth of tour buses and massive platters of Peruvian marching powder and ladies of the night. That's not what rock and roll bands do. Rock and roll bands, being the Lancashire Hotpots, go back to the hotel room, open a can of mild percentage lager and sit and watch Bullseye until 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
I did get the wrong memo when I joined the band. I was told there were going to be huge platters of ladies of the night. But yeah, it's the Bullseye thing. We also, and it's not the same, if we're not away and I put Bullseye on in the house, it's not the same vibe, because I know there's certain things Jim will say and I'll just
I had to retune the telly in my room last night to make sure I could get Bullseye. That's where we are.
Just while we're on televisions, my mate was in mine the other day and she said, your telly needs retuned. I said, why? And she said, look at the colour of that grass. And when I looked at the colour of the grass, it was like a sort of psychedelic 60s video. It was just too bright. You
can't beat a bit of bully though, can you?
You can't beat a bit of bully.
Love it.
Quite deep existential one coming up. Matthew Webbo says,
hello, Websy.
What advice would you give to your younger Hotpots self?
Oh, right. I thought he was going to say listener at the end. Younger Hotpot self.
So if you go back in time in the comedy TARDIS, to 2006, 2007,
probably
higher pitched, Bernard. Oh, all right, cockers.
I would probably refuse to sing any of the songs that Dickie writes with so many words. If they could all just have like 4 words a verse, that'd be fine, wouldn't it? I could probably remember them. I don't know. Bob?
It's quite.
We've not done out like really bad that warrants us to not do it again. I would quite happily stay on the same path.
I think just before we started the Hotpots, I was like, we were in bands, weren't we? And I didn't enjoy kind of going out to major cities and kind of not know what I was getting myself into. We were travelling towards places and just like, what is this we were kind of doing? And to a certain extent, I didn't enjoy that, but I do now. So I think what I'd probably say to myself is just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Relax.
Just relax.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride.
The one constant with the Hotpots is that the people are there to enjoy themselves. Aren't
Yes,
they?
yeah.
Kenny?
I'd probably suggest drum lessons.
Short but sweet. Billy?
I think if I could talk to my younger Hotpot self, I'd probably say, just value your keys, wallet, phone more. I mean, I often thought as soon as I joined the band, because the more you go away and go to different cities, each year we've had more and more gear. We started off just wearing the normal clothes. Now we've got synthesizers. We're basically like Genesis with all the setup. And I'd just say, just remember those lyrics, keys, wallet, phone, because years ago when I heard it, I thought, well, that's all very well, but it doesn't really apply to anyone, does it? And since being in this band, I've lost my keys, my wallet, and my phone.
And several jackets.
Jackets,
Jackets and jeans.
I've lost jackets and jeans.
I love the fact that when Billy was introduced to the band, he'd never been in a hotel. That was amazing. I've never stayed away before. This is great.
Well, I the closest I'd been to a hotel, I'd watched one episode of Crossroads with my nan.
A couple of questions about the album. Jared Hayworth. Let's hope I pronounced that right. Says, tell us about the new album. Gary Langley says, have you created tracks on the new album specifically to be played live, or are they multi-purpose? Therein lies a tale. And Gary also continues, at what point do you decide we've got enough gold here, let's record? Do you record so many tracks or whittle them down, or do you just start recording with a number in mind? Yes. So the new album is the Sing Along and Knees Up Jamboree Tour. The theme generally is stuff that you can sing along to, stuff that's party based. There's stuff that reflects the current climate that we live in terms of austerity and things not being generally nice for
as always,
a certain amount of people. But that's the reason why you have a party.
Mixing the old with the new.
Mixing the old with, yes.
Current topics in an oldie style.
And it's new styles, but lots of classic-y Hotpots material. What we generally do is we have song topics, and sometimes we'll just park that song topic, but we'll keep a list. I've got it all very neatly organised now on a Google sheet.
Shareable.
Yes, shareable. And yes, so if somebody has an idea for a song, it'll just be right, and let's just park that sheet there, and eventually someone might have a bit of a way to develop it. So, for example,
or something that might be near it, and then you can combine the two.
For this particular album, we've got a song called "I'll Drive There, You Drive Back," which was just a title, and then Bernard, you sent some sort of lyrics through, which I immediately discarded, obviously. But
it had the vibe.
But from that, it went right.
Yeah.
From those lyrics, I know that the lyrics aren't those lyrics; they're these lyrics. And by writing these lyrics, I got the tune. And then that was that.
Yeah, normally we just go in the studio and do what Dickie tells us to do and
but
trust that it's all going to work out
but
fine.
We've for the first time in I think almost all the 10 years that we've been recording, we're spending time developing them in the rehearsal room. So if anything, I think we could, for the first time ever, this album, we could actually go out and tour it from start to finish. All the songs, they are very much being written with being played live in mind.
Yeah, they'll be produced to sound fantastic, but based from band ideas.
The thing is as well, I think we're the only band, we go in the studio with a couple of songs and whittle them up. But yeah, I think this new thing of us all playing together every couple of Tuesdays.
This new thing of a band
well, it's new for us.
Well, it's new for us, yeah, because obviously if you lose your lyric book, that would be like Bob Monkhouse's joke book's gone, innit? So
You wouldn't know who you were.
Terrifying.
Right, Paul Wilco says, if times were hard and you had to moonlight as a cover band, which band's songs would you be singing?
Oh, that's a massive question.
Easy.
One can't. Is it?
Easy for me.
I don't think it's easy.
Queen.
He's got his Queen t-shirt
Queen
on right
t-shirt
there.
on. Queen we'd play deep cuts though. We wouldn't play the hits.
Yes.
If you want the hits of Queen, there are plenty of tribute bands out there doing that. But if you want to hear Football Fight from the Flash Gordon soundtrack in its entirety, and if you want to hear Machines Back to Humans off side 2 of The Works, then you can come and see our Queen tribute band called Dragon Attack.
Register that name now.
Which is also a song.
Usually when you hear a statement like that on the radio, do you hear terms and conditions apply?
Kenny?
I think I'd probably just do a kind of 80s mix of all the different 80s songs that I love. Blondie and Echo and the Bunnymen and Simple Minds and
You'll
OMD and
have to
Hot
see if you
Snot.
can join Electro 80s.
Yeah, a bit of Duran Duran maybe. You know, that kind of shiz.
I think I'd like to do something different where I'd pick songs of various bands, and each night I'd do them in the style of another band. So say one night you could think, well, I'm going to do Deep Purple songs, but tonight, for one night only, we're going to do them like Ace of Base would have done them, you know. Or tonight we're going to do Led Zeppelin as if it was Aswad, you know. So, something a bit different, you know.
in the style of Shaggy.
Yeah.
Shaggy.
I think just from a pure enjoyment and musical point of view, I would probably like to be the rhythm guitarist in a Zappa tribute band.
Best of luck with that.
Yeah, it would be hard, but
Very hard.
incredibly rewarding.
Just while we're on the tribute thing, at this very place, the Flower Pot, and places like the Witchwood as well, you'd see various names of tribute acts, and a couple of my favourites. One was a Genesis tribute band called Genesis. Obviously, there's that guy who does Meatloaf called Pete Loaf. And one of my favourites, I don't know whether this will stay in, one of my favourites there was a Duran Duran tribute band that a mate of mine knew called Semi La Bon.
And I would like to take a lovely young female singer, and me and her would go out and belt out the greatest hits of Erasure.
Oh, massive.
I'd be there at the back with my laptop just pressing play, just like Vince does, like he did at Carfest. Play, there you go, see you later.
I also did think, do you remember the singer Black who sang It's a Wonderful Wonder? I thought if I could get someone like him, if I could get someone who looked like Carol Decker, we could go out as Black and Decker.
And time's marching on. There's no more time for any more questions. Thank you very much for all the people that submitted. Apologies if yours didn't get on. Time pressures are very much against us this morning. We have got to go downstairs and collect all our gear out of a pub and then get back off to our friends, family and loved ones.
Or it's Mother's Day today.
It is whilst we're recording this. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this. We shall hope see you out on the road in Fun Town. Remember, it's a barn cake. And there's the music. And see you later.
The Lancashire Hotpots Podcast.